Hello, welcome to Creating with Kate. Today we're going to be playing with colors. I'm going to be demonstrating different methods of using a brayer or a hand roller, and also we're going to be making prints and seeing what kind of textures we can make by using recycled household items. Let's get started.
Okay, you're going to need textured materials, burlap, different sized string, sponges, or shelf liner, bubble wrap, anything with a texture. Also, a brayer for rolling on the paint, and some heavyweight paper, materials for stamping, and acrylic paints. For this project, you're going to want to lay out something to protect your workspace, like a tablecloth or a drop cloth, and then set up your supplies. When using a brayer, there are countless options. You can use it as is, or wrap things around it for rolling on your printed texture. Here I'm using a little strip of burlap, and then I'll affix it with some Scotch tape. When using a brayer, you're going to want a long palette. I used a repurposed piece of cardboard to put my paint on, and then you pick it up by rolling the brayer over the paint. And then you take it to your paper. You can have a lot of fun experimenting with different materials that you find around your house. Here I'm using bubble wrap from a mailing envelope, though it turns out the bubbles aren't very raised on this type of bubble wrap. So perhaps you'd get a better result if you used bubble wrap with greater contrast than this type that I used.
Next, I decided to try using different weights of string, wrapping that around the brayer and affixing both ends with tape, and seeing what sort of prints that might make. It was about at this point that my little helper noticed my experimentations, and he came over and wanted to try printing himself. Our methods certainly differed. He was all about all the color, all at once, all on top of each other. But he knows his own mind, and when he felt like he had enough, he stopped, and we got a new piece of paper. Then we were trying out the thick string to see what sort of print that might make. After my little helper and I had had our fill of playing with colors and different textures with the brayer, I turned my attention to making some stamps. This is an excellent way to make prints even if you don't have a brayer. You take whatever found materials that you have, and then you use them to apply the paint to your picture. Here I've already laid a pretty good foundation of color on my paper, and then I'm going to add pops of color with the different stamps with the different kinds of texture. First, I used a little bit of burlap, and then I moved to trying with a little bit more bubble wrap. When you're using the different textures, one of the things you can experiment is how much paint you want to use. Sometimes when you really want to see the texture, you'll need to pat off the paint a little bit before bringing the stamp to your paper. One of the fun things about this project was looking around at the various materials around my house, whether in my recycle bin or otherwise, and finding the patterns and imagining what that might look like if I used that to print on paper. Also in this project, I noticed that the palettes became almost as colorful as the papers I was printing on, which made me want to experiment with blending the colors on the palette as well as on the paper. So as you're making your prints, play around and see what looks nice and what you like and what you don't like. And when you feel like you're done, just stop. Though I did go back in and kind of blend the colors together with my brayer just to see what that would look like. And I really liked the effect.
And there you have it. Many ways to inspire you to play with colors and make your very own abstract multi-texture prints. Everyone will be different, and it's really fun to see what sort of effects you can make. I hope you have fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time.